ladies and gentlemen, and our team includes Duong, Linh, which is me, and my flow. And today we're going to present about a topic which is related to this picture. And a question is put forward to you to answer. That do you know which civilization are we gonna present about?
Egypt.
Egyptian.
Raise your hand.
I guess it's Egypt.
Yay, your question, your answer is correct. And we're gonna present about ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt was located along the Nile River in Northeast Asia, and this is the main source for Egyptian which contributes strongly to their wealth and makes Egyptians become experts in irrigation, and to help them were able to use water to make profitable crops. However, this civilization weakened in about the 700 BC for the reason that they were conquered by a number of another civilization. And here we have a table of content to show you generally what we're going to talk about in our presentation. Firstly, we're going to talk about the origin of the ancient Egypt. Second is the existence. And you can see here is very general periods that are included in the ancient Egypt. Firstly is the early dynastic period, the Old Kingdom, that is the first intermediate period, the Middle Kingdom, the second intermediate period, the New Kingdom, and the third intermediate period, and the Late Kingdom. Next, we're going to talk about the major achievements and figures of this civilization, and then its disappearance we're going to be mentioned in our presentation. And next is the remains, and last we're going to list some sources that we use during this presentation. About the origin of the ancient Egypt, this civilization is one of the most powerful and influential. Oh no, I'm sorry. Egyptian descended from the settlers who moved to the Nile Valley, and they were immigrants from Libya, and especially the Middle East. In antiquity, the most favored settlement location is near the riverbank, where the transport and water were available and flooding was unlikely. About its existence, the ancient Egypt was one of the most powerful and influential civilization of all the civilizations that have happened. And this civilization exists for quite a long time, for over 3,000 years, from 3,100 BC to approximately 300 BC. Next, my friend Michael is gonna present more about this civilization.
So we come to the third part, major achievement and figures. First one is papyrus, also now known as paper, is one of the most diverse and unique papers in the world. The introduction of writing in Egypt in the pre-Phonetic period, about 3000 BCE, brought with it the formation of a special class of literate professional. The next one is mathematics. Mathematics was used to measure time, straight lines, level of Nile flooding, calculate area of land, counting money, and also used in mythology. The Great Pyramid of Khufu from the 4th dynasty was a mathematical wonder. They measured the angle of each direction so that each side of the pyramid was facing exactly north, south, east, and west. pyramid it was first built in 2667 to 2648 BC. It was the oldest pyramid was erected for King Joseon. In 1600 BC, there is technology in ancient Egypt. It has high standard of productivity and sophistication. The lunar calendar, it was ancient Egypt happened in 3 millennium BCE. It was one of 3 calendars in use in Egyptian antiquity. Fourth is about disappearance. The ancient Egypt disappeared around 1000 BC. It was divided by war. The one great empire was slowly brought into knees by a centuries-long drought, economic crisis, opportunities, foreign invaders. There are several reasons for the disappearance of ancient Egypt. It was because a loss of military power, loss of natural sources, and political conflicts.
And now we are moving on to the ancient Egyptian remains that are still popular nowadays. And first of all, the Great Sphinx of Giza. The Great Sphinx of Giza was a limestone statue that of a sphinx, which is a mythical creature with the head of human and the body of lion. The archaeologists estimated that it was created by ancient Egypt. It was created from about 2558 to 2532 BC by the ancient Egyptians of the Old Kingdom, and its face appeared to represent Khafre, who was the pharaoh at that time. And however, the statue was inside Sphinx, its nose was broken off for unknown reasons. And secondly, the most famous and the greatest symbols of Egypt, the pyramids. In fact, pyramids are not only located in Egypt. We can observe it all around the world, such as Spain, Greece, Peru, US and Canada, India. But each area have their different types of pyramid. But I am paying more attention on the Egyptian ones. And the pyramids were built from 2700 BC until around 1700. And the first pyramid was erected by the pharaoh Lieu and his architect Imhotep. And in addition, the largest Egyptian pyramids those are the Giza pyramid complex, which is the same as the Great Sphinx, as I mentioned before. And finally, the second greatest symbols of Egypt, in my opinion, is the mask of Tutankhamun. And it's a gold mask of the 18th dynasty ancient Egyptian, and also the youngest pharaoh in the Egyptian history, the pharaoh Tutankhamun. And it was created from about 1334 to 1325 BC, and it was discovered by Howard Carter in 1925 in Tom KV62 Valley of the Kings. And And besides, there is a curse that will operate upon anyone who disturbs the mummies of an ancient Egyptian, especially a pharaoh. And the archaeologists claim that it will cause bad luck or illness and even death. And this is a diagram shows how ancient society was shaped, and there were a total of 2, 4, 6, 10 levels leading by the pharaoh and the government officials, and the bottom level is slave over the slaves.
During our research, we found some interesting facts that we would like to share with you guys today. Firstly, it is surprising that back in the Egyptian civilization, men and women wore makeup. They believed that the makeup can help them to heal powers and to protect them from the sunlight and from the evil side. And secondly, the Egyptians used moldy bread to help with infections. One another fun fact that they were one of the first civilizations to invent writing. It was used to write on the paper that we mentioned before, which is papyrus. And there were a lot of scientists and mathematicians during the ancient Egypt, which they brought up some inventions, including build some buildings, the calendar, the cosmetics, some musical instruments, and yeah, that's etc.
Ancient Egypt plays a major role in the Bible, and the pharaoh usually kept his or her hair covered, and it was not easily seen by normal people. And the last one is cats were considered sacred in ancient Egypt, and these are resources. And here are some sources that we use to make our presentation. And at the end of the presentation, do you have any questions?
Can you tell me more about the major achievements related to astronomy?
Astronomy and mathematics. It was both used to build pyramid. The two aspects I don't know really well about it, and you can search it on internet. But it's used to measure like weather and measure behind pyramid, how it's faced in north, south, east, and west.
Can you tell me more about the life with cats, like how they treated cats and cats like around Pharaoh?
We've researched only enough to make an example and to make our presentation lively. But if you really want to know the statue that Zoe mentioned before, and I don't know, but
Person.
yeah. It's actually looked like a cat, so I believe that the Egyptian were sacred the cats. We only research enough to
To make it sense.
Can you explain what did they use the pyramid for and how did they build it?
The what?
The pyramid. What did they use the pyramid for and how did they build it?
The pyramid is basically a tomb or a monument of a pharaoh. That's what they use it for and how they made it. Well, there is until now no exact answer for this question. They are maybe scientists, as far as I know.
Actually, some people argue that it was made by aliens.
Asian?
I was gonna ask that.
Asians?
Aliens.
Aliens.
Alien.
Is there any more questions?
Say again.
Yeah.
Could you explain the major role of the Egypt in the Bible?
Bible?
Yeah, in the Bible.
It was I know. It's just like God, like Jesus have Christians and Pharaoh have a similar religious tribe, as far as I know, and Pharaoh was sacred and were like, I don't know how to explain, but yeah, Pharaoh has shared the same position religiously as Jesus, as far as I know.
What do you mean by that? That they inspired the Bible?
Excuse me?
So you were saying that the Pharaoh was in the same position as a god, at the same status as a god in referring to the Bible. So did they inspire the creation of the Christianity?
No, it's totally different.
Share the same position in the prayer's heart, but not that exactly the same characteristic.
Thank you for your answer.
Is there any more questions? So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.